Well, students, good afternoon. Yesterday we had an introductory session. Let us continue with chapter 4. Okay, so we'll be dealing with the chapter 4. Just a moment, there are some settings going on. So we'll be continuing with chapter 4, which would be introduction to software, right? So yesterday I thought of going with problem solving methodology. To understand problem solving, basically we should have some knowledge of software. So what shall we do today is we will try to understand what is software, how many types of softwares are there, and how software is used for us in this particular objective, like going with the problem solving. So first of all, to understand what is a software is the question. So we will try to go with the definition of the software, and then we will go with the different types of the software, and then later on we will continue with the different topics. If you look at when a computer works, it basically goes with three things. The first one we will call it as hardware. The second thing which is required is a software, and the third one is a user, one who is going to use it. Here, when it comes to the question of a software or hardware, let us first try to define hardware and then go to software. Hardware is all the physical parts that are available with the system or a computer. We will call them as hardware units. Okay, what is hardware? Hardware are nothing but the physical parts, physical components that are available with the system. All physical, like when you see a computer, you'll be seeing a monitor, you'll be seeing a CPU, you'll be seeing a keyboard, right? And you'll be seeing a mouse, all those physical parts. And even if you open the central processing unit, okay, or which is a cabinet, actually a central processing unit is a part of a cabinet. So we will be having a CPU inside the cabinet. So you have all the hardware parts, maybe it is motherboard, right? So power supply unit, everything which are concerned, like all wires, mic, camera, whatever you connect physically to the system, we will call them as hardware. Right? I hope I'm clear with the hardware. You should first understand what is hardware. So we will have a connectivity between different hardware units. Maybe it is monitor, CPU, mouse, keyboard, mic, etc. etc. Now, when we connect hardware, basically only with the hardware, the computer doesn't work. Right? Computer doesn't work. It cannot work. It cannot start also without the second part, which is called a software. The second one, which we call it, is a software. Now, yesterday, as I say, a software is nothing but a set of programs, okay, using which, right? It is a set of programs using which a user can interact with the system. User can interact with the hardware, right? So, a set of programs to access keyboard, a set of programs to access mouse, a set of programs which access hard disk, memory, right? Memory devices, everything. So all those programs or set of programs are a part of software. What is the first one? Hardware. Second one would be the software. All set of programs which are written to make computer interactive with the third necessary unit, which is user. Now, who is a user? A user is a person, one who is going to use this system. Right? A user or an end user is a person who is going to use this particular system. Now, we are not moving into the hardware part totally. We are trying to go with the software. The chapter itself is a software now. In software, we will be discussing with types of softwares. We will be discussing with different types of softwares, and then different languages that we use in writing the programs. Now, let me tell you, we are concentrating on software. Now, when I say software, a software is set of programs. Now, the question comes is, what is a program? Correct? Question comes is, what is a program? I have even told you yesterday, a program is set of instructions given to computer to accomplish a single task, or sequence of instructions. A program is nothing but a sequence of instructions which are given to computer to accomplish a task. What is the task? Right? The next question may be, what is a task? Anything that you wanted to do on a system is a task for a system. You want to add two numbers is a task. You want to increase the font size is a task. You want to apply color is a task. Right? So you type something on the keyboard and that should appear on the monitor. It is a task for a system. So to accomplish this task, there are sequence of instructions written, okay, which together will work and make your task done, make your work done. So this is what we call it as program. Similarly, to change the color, one program; to work with the keyboard, one program; to work with mouse, one program. We have collection of so many programs, and such collection we call it as software. What do we call software? Now let us move forward one step and try to understand what are the types of softwares in today's session. Types of software. I'm going to write software in a short form. Software is written as S/W. Okay. Hardware is written as HW. Okay. Hardware is this. Now, what are the different types of software that are written? So there are basically two types of software. One we will call it as system soft. Other one we will call it as application soft. The first one is system software. The second thing is application software. Now the question comes is, what is a system software? Right? Again, software is collection of programs. Okay? Collection of programs by which you can operate the system. You can operate the whole computer. Okay? Maybe collection of programs to make keyboard work. Collection of programs to make monitor work. Right? Collection of programs to make camera work. System software. Collection of programs to manage the memory devices. Right? You have plenty of memory devices that you connect to a system. There is hard disk, there is pen drive, there is lot of memory devices. So we need one particular person or one particular set of programs which can interact with these hardwares. Right? Hardware should be interacted. Keyboard should interact with CPU. Mouse should interact with CPU. Correct? Hard disk should interact with CPU. Okay? All such programs or collection of programs which are written to maintain the system, organize the system, and operate the system. Okay, to maintain, organize, and operate the system, we use certain collection of programs, and such collection of programs we will call them as system software. What do we call them as? System software. To define it much precisely, we call system software is a software or is collection of programs which interacts between man and machine. Okay, which is used to interact between man and machine. So we have different examples of a system software. Suppose if you might have heard about Android, right? Right. So you know this device. What is this device? I think you people, all of you are using it right now. This device you are using it, correct? So this device, if I just handle it, it is black. Right now it is getting some. Okay. If I just handle like this, it is black. What what should I do it with the black screen? See, it is black screen only, right? So until and unless there is software working in it, okay, until and unless Android starts and working in it, okay, we cannot operate with this system. So to operate with this system, we need some software. To operate with a computer, we need some software. So operating system is such particular system software. Operating system is a system software which interacts between man and machine. Okay. So when you switch on a computer, when you switch on your mobile, okay, you can see our mobile is displaying some particular messages, some particular icons based on which you should understand and you should say start operating. Now, if this mobile, if I handle it and it is not going to show me anything, how should I operate in it? You cannot. You cannot do anything until and unless it shows something on the screen. Okay? How does it shows? Only when it is loaded with the system software. Now, what is the system software that we use in the mobile phone? Some people use Android, some people use iOS, right? Android or most popular operating systems of a mobile, okay? Whereas iOS is a popular which is used only in a device like Apple. So similarly, when we start a computer, might be you people have, some of you might have already worked with a computer. Until and unless you have an operating system, you cannot go forward. You cannot start with the system. Okay. So what are you seeing, say on the screen? Right? When you switch on a system, you see a desktop, correct? Which means that your operating system Windows is on and it is ready to interact with you. So a system software is a software, or operating system is a system software which interlinks between man and machine. What is it going to do? It is going to have an interaction between man and the machine, or the user and the system. Now the second type of software, what we call it as application software. Now we will try to understand what does application software means. Okay, say I don't have knowledge of what is monitor, what is CPU, what is keyboard and all. My intention is I have to give my input to the system and take output. That's it. Okay, I am going to ask something to do to computer, it will do that task for me. That's it. So application software or such type of softwares user can just give his input and take output according to his requirement. That's it. So now system software is one software which will help us, which will help hardware and software to get related. Memory management is done. Okay, so do you know how people will manage their memory in the mobile? No, they don't know how they have to manage. The least bother. We don't use all those things. We only use apps. What are the most popular apps you use? Facebook, WhatsApp, Insta, right? They are all applications. What do you do in it? You are just trying to pass a message, put some pictures, put some videos, okay? And you're least bothered how does your device is working with that. My intention is, I'm giving you some input. You should give me the output. That's it. Such type of applications which are used by the user, end users. By the end users. End users are those people, right, who will not be programming anything. They will be just using the program which is programmed by somebody else. So, such type of a collection of programs, we will call it as application software. So, basically, two types. There is again one more software which is coming, which is a part of application software itself. That we call it as a firmware. We call that particular software as firmware. Now, what does a firmware means? It is related to a single firm. It is related to one organization. A software or a collection of programs which is related to one organization and it is working with only one organization, we will call it as firmware. So, like you have your login that you have done it with the Rankers Academy, correct? So that is an on-net software, on-net firmware which is only used for Rankers Academy. Whether others can come into it? No, right? So there are some general purpose softwares, there are some applications where we use, which is used in public, which means that which is used by everyone. Okay, so those are all application softwares. Now the firmware, when it comes, it is related to one particular organization and only that organization will be using that that software. Only the users related to that operating system, that organization. Say for example, you have Vidupudi Institute. So the Vidupudi Institute has got its own on-net software and that is used by only the organization people and the students who are related to the organization. Rankers Academy is used by the teachers and the students and the concerned non-teaching staff who will be operating it. Okay, who are concerned to that. Okay, so that is another type of a software. I hope you people have understood what is software. Software is collection of programs or set of programs, we will call it as software. Types of softwares, we have system software, we have application software. Set of programs or collection of programs which are written to interlink man and machine, they are called as system software. Example is operating system. Another example is a compiler, interpreter, which we'll come to know in the further sessions. Compilers, interpreters, where we write programs. Okay, so the other type of a software is application software, which is software which is only used by the end users. End users, they are only like data entry operators. If they enter their data, that's it. They don't try to break their head. How is it happening? So, but this to work with the system software, you have to at least break your head. How is it working? You should know what is the logic of working, say, behind any task, right? So those things are those things are very important, which you people have to understand. Yeah. When we go further with the system software, we'll try to go further with the system software here. Just run this. So we'll be talking about system software. So again, when you go into system software, there are, as I said, there are three types of system softwares which are available. One is operating system itself, because basically to work with any system, the basic need is an operating system. If you want to work with a device, Android is needed. This is also a computer. Okay. If you work with a system that is present, computer that is present, you need Windows or you need Linux or you need, say, Sun Solaris. Okay. A lot of other operating systems are also available. Unix is there. Okay. So much more operating systems are present. First type of system software is the operating system. Second one, so first is operating system. Second one is language translators. So language translators are the second type of operating systems, and then utilities. Utilities is the third type of operating system. Third type of a system software. Basically, to work with a system, to work with any electronic device which has got a combination of hardware and software, not only with the computer, right? Anything which has a combination of hardware and software. Okay, so we use an operating system. A minimal operating system is used. Now, as I already said, operating system is a system software which interlinks between man and machine. Okay, we are having programs written to interact with my machine. Say I want to set my time of the system, regional settings of the system time, all as a part of our operating system. Right now, to some devices, it has become a part of our utilities. So, operating system is a system software which is going to interlink between man and the machine. What does it do? It is going to provide friendly interface, user-friendly interface, so that whenever a new user starts working with it, he can understand it very clearly and try to operate with it. So, and it has got programs written by which you can understand the resources in the system. Operating system has got basically a interface design, a friendly interface design, so by which you can easily understand and interact with the machine. Along with the interface, it also helps us in managing the resources. What are resources? Resources maybe how do you manage the processor that is present in the system? How do you manage the memory? Okay, how do you manage the input output devices like keyboard, mouse, printer, monitor, etc., etc. And then files. How do you manage files? How do you store files? How do you keep them in an intact manner so that they can be accessed whenever you are in need of them? So all such things will be taken care by an operating system. So operating system will take care of these things. The second type which we look at is the computer languages, or we will call them as language translators or again the systems softwares. Now I'll tell you what is language translator. So how does language comes in between computer, which is an electronic device? Basically, let me give you an example. I'm speaking in English now, correct? Maybe you have Prem Kumar, Tarun, Rameshri, and different people who are present in this session, right? They are listening to me in English only. Is it right? You are listening to me in English, but you have some inbuilt language translator which makes your language or the language that you hear will get converted into your mother tongue. Okay? So basically, language translators' work is to translate my words in terms of English. So I'm a Kannadiga and I basically have Kannada as a mother tongue. When I'm speaking in front of you in English, okay, so my words should come from me, right? In such a manner, it should be delivered in English. Okay, so I have an inbuilt language translator which translates my mother tongue into, say, whatever I am expressing, I am trying to express it in my mother tongue. I don't understand other tongues, other languages. Only when I understand it, only when I come to know this word has this meaning in my mother tongue. Correct? So basically, when we start learning, that's what is the process. Don't go much deeper into it. You have to strike your head. So still there is a long process. What you are doing is, you are listening to me in English and your brain has a capability, it has got an inbuilt software which converts the English words, sentences into your mother tongue and make you understand. That's what you are doing right now. You're doing it, you are receiving the language as English, but you are trying to understand it in terms of your mother tongue. Ask yourself, it'll come to you. So, such type of softwares are also developed. Sir, why is it, sir? For us, we have a brain. For us, we know different languages. We'll be learning in different languages. We need language translators. What is the use of language translator to computers, sir? Maybe your question. How does language translators works with a computer? I'll tell you basically, as we have mother tongue, computer also has got its own mother tongue. Right? So maybe I have a mother tongue which has got 52 characters, 49 characters, correct? You have mother tongue maybe 49 or maybe 52, maybe 26. English is, if somebody's mother tongue is English, okay, they'll be having only 26 characters in their mother tongue. But computer has also got a mother tongue and it has got only 2 characters in its mother tongue. Which, how many characters? Only 2 characters. It does not understand anything except these 2. What is the first one? Very simple to learn computer language. 1. Second one is 0. That's it. In computer language, we have only 2 characters. The first one is 1 and the second one is 0. So, whatever computer understands should be in ones and zeros. If you have to make computer to understand the language, it should be in ones and zeros. Now tell me, with the keyboard, I am going to write computer, ask yourself, or you people ask Google, correct? You people ask Google. Nowadays, no typing work is also done. You ask your Google, hey Google, give me this. Hey Google, give me the meaning of that word. All those things you do. That, how does the computer understand it? It converts that into its mother tongue. So, such type of softwares which are used in translating the language to machine language. We will call ones and zeros as machine language. If anything is written in ones and zeros, we will call it as machine level language. So what happened is, how did this grow? That also you should know. Language translators should, when you understand, you should also understand 3 types of languages. The first type of language is machine language itself. If I'm going to write anything in terms of ones and zeros, computer will very easily understand. Okay, so if I write 0010 to computer, it will understand. Did you understand what is 0010? Did you understand? If you think little bit, you can understand. Right? Think, let me see who can answer this. 0010, I'll tell you answer. You need not unmute yourself. Okay? So 0010 in computer language means 2. Right? It is 2. Sir, how is it possible? How do you people have learned it? Right? So 2 has to be divided by the number of characters 2 in computer language. So it is 1, 2 ones are 2, 0 remains. Okay, 1 0. Right? I have written it in terms of bits. If you close this, because right, if you have 4 bits, 8 bit, you'll come to know that later. 4 bit, 8 bit systems, then I have to write it in minimum 4 bits. Okay, so now come on, let us have some exercise with the computer language. So what is 1010 then? What is 1010? What is 1010? What is the value of 1010? It is 10. 1010 is 10. Yes, how? 10. You have to divide it with 2. Correct? 2 5s, 10, nothing remains. 2 2s, 4, 1 remains. 2 1s, 2, 0 remains. Go like this. 1 0 1 0 is how you can convert it. So this is how everything started converting. That's why basically when we are learning computers, we need basic mathematics. This is basic mathematics, right? This is, you have learned it in your classes. Binary number system. As a part of a binary number system. A binary number system is what? 1 and 0. Correct? Right? So what is the current number systems that we are using? 0 to 9. Correct? Decimal number system, which is having base 10. Okay? So if you have 0 to 1, it is having base 2. So it is part of binary number system. Okay? So using this, even everything can be converted. You can convert not only numbers, you can convert characters, A, B, C, D up till Z, you can convert it. All those things can be converted using such things. The later sessions, you will have a separate part as number systems. There you will understand all this. This is just an introduction again. Right? So this is a basic language which is called as machine level language. There is a second type of a language which is assembly language. So what happened? So what about only numbers you have converted? What about the words, characters? Okay, so then what happened is, so little bit of coding started generated. In assembly level language, we started using something called as mnemonics. Okay, mnemonics are nothing but the codes. We will call it as mnemonics. So these are nothing but the codes. The second stage of language development, what they have done is they have generated some codes. So this code is meant for using this code is meant for using this. That code is automatically converted into machine language and they started using this mnemonics. So they started assembling Machine code with the code, right? With the mnemonics. So it is assembly level language which has come. You'll understand it a little better when we go with the number systems again. Mnemonics is this, and then the last type of a language which has come is high level language. So high level language is right now what we are talking and what we are writing. English. It is an English level language. Everything that is written, told to computer in English will get converted to ones and zeros. Everything, whatever I am speaking right now, if it is reaching you, it has to be converted into ones and zeros. Then it only enters the system, and then gets coded, and then it is sent via internet to you. You will receive at your end. There is again a language translator which is present in the system which you have in your mobile probably. Okay, so that language translator will convert that again into the form of English, and it is, say, given as an output via speaker. So via headphone, via speaker, whatever you are using right now. So this is a process which happens in the second type of a system software, which is language translator. And third thing is to set all these things, right? We need some software, right? So I want screen, half screen this, half screen that. Okay, so you make all settings, right? You set beautiful background. Okay, so you put some bikes and all those things. You want your temperature to be displayed, correct? You want calculator to be used. All those are utilities. They are all utilities. You want to set the timings, you want to set the dates, regional settings that you can do, right? Those setting softwares are nothing but the utilities. They are used again by the user. So this is about, say, system software. Hopefully, I hope this would be fine enough for you. We will have another 3 parts left in the language translators. Okay, that we will continue in the tomorrow's session. Hopefully tomorrow I will not be available. I am out of station. If I am available, I will definitely take class. If I am not available, somebody else will engage this session. Right? Let us come back to the feedback.